liberty. We're here to fight for the freedoms laid out in our Constitution. There's a tremendous amount of energy that's here today, and I ask you, keep that New Hampshire spirit alive. It will take courage for our state senators to stand up to Washington, D.C. and refuse to go along with real ID. That courage has to come from us.
You and I will now need to register ourselves, just like we register our pets, just like we register our vehicles, and just like Hitler did in Germany in World War II.
Not be stopped by every policeman that happens to think they look suspicious or don't like their face, or if they're disrespectful to someone, they go, okay, show me your ID.
No ID. You won't get an ID from me. It's my right. Here's your number.
What the feds want the ordinary, the law-abiding citizen to do in the wake of the tragic events of 9/11 will not control illegal immigration. It will not control the terrorists, but it will control you and me. This registration of people will create a huge, huge database, and databases grow enormously fast. And I ask you all now to make yourself known to your senators this coming week. Let them know that you want them to vote for HB 1582. Thank you very much for listening.
Please welcome Katherine Albrecht.
So you probably remember a time when it was possible to do most activities in the United States without being asked for a card. Nobody wanted to scan your unique ID number to buy groceries or to check in even to a hotel or even to get onto an airplane, believe it or not. So we're moving to the point now where ID cards are being required for more and more daily activities and the participation in just regular life. And my personal concern, based on years of this research that I've done at Harvard University, where I'm receiving my doctorate in consumer education, is that if we are not careful, this ID card that the federal government wants to create for us will be required for not just going into federal buildings and opening bank accounts, but for every other activity in which we engage.
Chip-based ID surveillance could fulfill dictators' wildest evil dreams, providing almost near total omniscience and control over every aspect of our society. Perhaps you think talk of government abuse is a red herring, since after all, we're not living in Nazi Germany. That's probably what Germany's neighbors thought too, until fascist thugs seized the reins of power from their legitimate governments and began committing the same atrocities they had done at home.
There is little doubt in my mind that were the Holocaust to happen today, Nazi predators would have done far more than issue yellow stars to mark their victims. They would almost certainly have tagged every Jew with a mandatory RFID implant, potentially deep in the body where it would be nearly impossible to remove.
Is that everybody standing here is a patriot. And we know what this country was founded on, and we understand what our obligations are. It's up to us. This is happening on our watch. And we have to decide if we are going to allow this, if we're going to stand by like sheep while they brand us, or if we're going to say, no, not now. We have an obligation to pass on our heritage, pass on our freedoms, and pass on our rights to our children. So we come together for a very good cause, and we raise our voices and we say, no, we will not have a national ID. Not in New Hampshire. Not ever.
How many of you people feel a kindred to the spirit of America that are here today? Let me hear it. Before the middle of next week, when the Senate takes up this vote, I strongly recommend that you write, send emails, and make phone calls to our illustrious senator and explain that New Hampshire is a place where live free or die is taken seriously. Yeah. You have an opportunity to bombard your senators, your local senators, the people that you elect and vote for, to bombard them with emails and phone calls and letters that say we do not want any damn national ID card in the state of New Hampshire. Ask them to support our House Bill 1582. It was a step in the right direction for freedom and democracy for the people of the state of New Hampshire, and it damn well will fit for the country.
You folks are the vanguard. You folks are the people who are leading this state to prevent national ID from creeping across America and New Hampshire. You're not alone. The National Governors Association opposes real ID. The National Council of State Legislatures opposes real ID. The National Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, the folks who have to administer this national ID thing, oppose it. The conservatives oppose it. The Cato Institute, one of the more conservative think tanks, came up to New Hampshire and testified last week at the Senate hearing on this bill in opposition. And guess what? The liberals oppose this. The ACLU came up from Washington, testified again before the Senate and said no to a national ID. Religious people, Christians and Jews oppose this. The people of America and the people of New Hampshire oppose it. The House of Representatives, by a 217 to 84 vote, said no real ID for this country and this state. They moved the cannon into position to fire a shot that will be heard round the nation. But that cannon has to be loaded, and the Senate of New Hampshire has to load it. And once it's loaded, it has to be fired. And the governor of this state, John Lynch, has to pull the trigger. And when the House and the Senate and the governor get together and that cannon is fired, it will start an unstoppable wave that will cause real ID to go down in flames.